Oh.
You like that?
One of those, like, did I really just hear what I think I heard?
I'm like, wait, how? You're talking to a woman right now, and you're a man, why are you saying this? Like,
You don't joke about stuff like that at all. Whether or not that was your intentions or not, that's not something you should say.
Even though there are other conversations going on, it was like this weird like hush kind of fell over everyone, even though other people were still talking. And so I was like, okay, then I didn't just imagine that.
It really makes me afraid for my own, my own younger siblings, my younger cousins, because I know they have bodies, and it's just like, you can't really trust anybody, honestly. People say crazy shit all the time. So I don't know.
How could someone say that, especially if they have sisters, mothers, whatever? That's like saying, oh, my mother should experience sexual assault. Oh, my sister should experience sexual assault. No one should experience it, male or female.
When I heard that, I really didn't think that it would come from a black man. For some reason, I just feel like we go through so much. Black females, Latinas, like, we just go through so much, and nobody really see that. And for you to say something like that, just like, what if you wear our shoes? And
like, to have someone who's supposed to be a leader, supposed to be progressive in their thinking, or woke, as we like to say, to have them say that, it's so archaic and so hurtful, because you never know what someone's experienced.
And you should know.
make it easy or anything like that. I'm like, you're kind of taking advantage of that. You get no respect from me. A 38-year-old is talking to like a high school is like, who are you doing? Mm-hmm. So that disgusts me. But to think that you're 38, talking to some girl who's taking her readings tomorrow, that makes no sense.
He's like 30 now, so like, that happened when he was young. So, 2 years ago, I found out that it's happened to one of my family members who was a male, and it happens. Yes, it happens. I think it's just this whole, I guess, masculinity thing. This whole, like, he did it to me, or she did it to me, whatever. Like, to be a man about it and just, like, put it behind me. And I remember hearing that from my family member, and as for telling about it, you don't want to say, oh, I was his. Am I allowed to curse? It's demeaning, and especially in the whole like society gender role of male, like, oh, I'm the one who should be dominant. Like, you just don't want to have that. Oh, like, everybody knows that what he did to me. Like, I don't really want to tell.
Meaning, we don't want you to cause a big scene.
There's already a whole like no snitching type of.
Something that happens to like every single family member, and it's somebody in the family that did it, and it's just like, oh, he's like this or she's like this. Like, you have to forgive and forget, but it's really hard to forgive and forget. So
suck it up. You're gonna have to see him. You better put a smile on your face, because like. It happens.
And if they do try to tell someone, the person that they may try to tell might like discredit what they're saying, because it's hard to believe. Like, Uncle Tommy, that's my brother. What you mean he did that to you? You're young, you don't understand.
Guys are meant to be this way. Like, oh, they have these hormones and they just can't control it. No, you fucking can't control your hormones.
You shouldn't tempt the man.
You're overreacting, or
he can't help himself. I feel like sexual assault can somewhat be genetic.
When he was younger, his older cousin was laying in the bed with him and everything. He felt his cousin's hand touch him in his private area.
I talk to my cousins about it, and we'll all talk to each other about it, and it's like we all go through the same thing.
I think he was 6 or something. I think he was 6 or something. That's when he started. I guess I'm kind of random right now. But
if your mom kind of goes through it, she expects you to be able to put up with it. Yeah, so when it happens, like, it happens so often for sure. That's the reality in at least my community and what I've seen and what I've heard and what I've been through.
You need to tell your daughters, you know, don't pay attention to these males. You let them know how you feel right then and there. Like, you know, because some males be like, oh, I'm going to get this one. I'm going to try this one because she don't really know. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why it happens, but...
Second thought.
Yes?
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go away.
Baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has been
Hoping that you drop in.
She talks about how the black female body was both masculated yet sexualized at the same time. So they were expected to, they were known as the hardest workers in the field. They were seen as strong and like could handle anything, you know, the idea of a strong, independent black woman, while also being highly sexualized to where they didn't have agency over their bodies. So, for example, slave owners' sons, a lot of times their first sexual experience was with a female slave through the actions of rape. And since the institution of slavery was instated, black women have never had ownership of their bodies. It was just expected, not yours. Oh, this is just something that happened, and it's been happening for centuries.
Males are really scary.
When we were fighting civil rights, we had to support the black male, and they had to, and by supporting the black male, they supported the idea of the patriarchy that's been in place by white people. And so they were, again, like doubly denouncing ownership of their bodies. And so I think that that's where that silence comes in from, is that, like, historically, like, if you were raped and you were a black female, like, it was just something that happened. Like, there's no owning up to it. It's just, oh, the family, you have to make it known. As someone who experienced sexual assault within my family, I wish I would have said something way earlier, because it affected the relationship with my sister, my mom, my dad, and then that portion of my family. And if I would have said something earlier, I know that based on how my parents reacted when I finally told them 3 or 4 years later, things would have been a lot different, and I would have gotten, I guess, the help that I needed, because it was really rough for me for that period before I told my parents. And not saying anything is so much more harmful and detrimental to your mental state. You don't really, it's not that you don't think it is, but you think, oh no, I can handle this, like I have to be strong. And it is, I think there's a different kind of strength in coming out and telling the truth, especially if it's within the family. And so I would just say that, remember that your voice matters, you matter.
Yeah, I don't know what we can do about it.
Hearing it from the mouth of someone who's supposed to be there for you, especially like having gone through experiences. I mean, what mentality do you have to be to make that statement? Then we had that meeting and he defended his statement. That's when I really got upset. He couldn't even admit he was in the wrong. He couldn't say, I'm sorry, till another black man told him, no, you're wrong. And that was just like, no, you have 3 girls here telling you what you did was wrong. And they're giving you reasons why, and you're still not listening.